Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday Night Music Show, where once in a while we actually talk about music. How's it going, everybody? I
Good, how
have,
are you?
as always, we have our faithful, loyal producer, engineer, wingman, Ed McMahon, Howie Darkstar.
Ed McMahon.
Hey.
He's kind of like my Robin. I was hoping that Jay could be like my Robin, but he's more like my Baba Booey sometimes. Speaking
A
of,
little bit.
we got Swiggy Jay Brennan, who is hailing from beautiful Las Vegas tonight.
Yes, tonight's Las Vegas.
Yes.
So, what's going on in Vegas? Oh, and you're gambling. I thought you were doing a father-son trip.
We are. But sadly, there's been a little bit of breaks in the action. It's good. My son is furthering his education this summer with some extra schooling. And I said, hey, why don't we take a couple days and head out there? We'll pick a time, I don't know, like this week where it's 113 degrees.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a
We
little
have a
warm.
pool, though.
You got a pool, got a pond, you know. Oh,
Nice.
by the way, Caesars Entertainment, where I'm a gold member, you're getting an email from me, and the statement will simply be, it would have been nice to tell me the pool was 21 and older. They failed to mention that on the website.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
pool's not really been the thing, but we've had a great time. Came here yesterday, hit one of our favorite spots, Brian. You'll probably know it, a place called Ellis Island.
Aha.
Hit Ellis Island front yard, and then I'm quite happy. My dad was a great golfer. He really was, and I started playing golf very, very young. I have a actual silver plate. My dad and I got low net in a father-son golf tournament back in 1973. And I still have that plate, and it's a real thing for me. I love that. And, you know, Connor, my older son, didn't really get into it that much. Colin and I went out 3 weeks ago, decided to hit some balls, and he got a little into it. And then we went out last week. And then last night went to a place called Top Golf, where they had a DJ. And let me tell you, they're not giving away their time, but man, was it worth it.
Yeah.
We had a great time. We're hitting golf
Excellent.
balls and music's playing. And I never once in my life thought music and golf would ever go together. But after last night, man,
yeah,
amazing.
with golf, you're supposed to be quiet.
Exactly.
The
Yeah, you're
announcers
supposed to
are
have the golf voice. Like, looks like Howie's got about 400 yards here. Oh, he's on the green. What the hell? Yeah, exactly. Everyone, shh.
quiet. Jay's
But
putting now.
it's this new, you know, post Tiger is what I call it, different generational golf thing, and it was a blast. We had a great time. Colin was killing it. And then here we are today. We've been to the Resorts World, brand new property that opened directly across from the old Riviera.
Oh,
which is
yeah.
the
Yeah.
Hall Convention Center.
Is
It's
that the
open
one
now.
where they have
It is open. It
Area
opened 2 weeks ago.
15? Is that in there too?
Oh,
You know what?
that's
We have not been to Area 15. Actually, our friend and DJ idol Chris Cox played
Chris.
Area 15, I believe, on the 4th.
really.
A video looked like there was about 3,000 people there.
Wow.
Yeah.
Looked insanely packed. We've not been there. We went to Fremont Street, Resorts World. Of course, if you like tacos, can I highly recommend Tacos El Gordo, where you'll wait half an hour, but Colin, worth it? Colin says worth it. So he's in the bed over here just chilling. He's a minor, so we can't show him on camera.
I'd say that you go somewhere in Vegas where you can get a fake ID so we can swim.
Well,
Yeah, I don't
it's
get
funny
that.
you say that. We're going to a place tonight, and I can announce it now because the wife hasn't seen this. It's not live. We're going to do a little thing that I've never done, and he's never done. And I'm a little scared, but I'm excited. We're going to take a helicopter tour of the Strip.
Nice.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
heard. Yeah.
He
Nice.
said, wouldn't that be cool last night? And I took out the old, my card's 10. It's a 10 credit card I have, but there was enough there. And I said, let's do it. So 10:15 tonight, we're going to do a little strip tour.
Excellent.
On a helicopter. And then tomorrow.
Oh, with the lights and all. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. We chose nighttime because I figured that would be good. And then tomorrow we're going to do what every 15-year-old boy would like to do. We're going to a gun store and firing off some heavy ammunition. So.
Well, it sounds like that you've got some fun stuff cooking.
We do. Yeah. And it comes off a weekend of 2 weddings where the first wedding I showed up and the venue said, yeah, you're going to plug into this. And I put up an Instagram video. And above me was 56 panels with 8 speakers in each panel. And it reminded me of the Grateful Dead back in the 70s when
the
they
wall of sound.
Right, exactly. Thank you, Howie.
What was that? Phil Spector. Yeah.
Yes.
No.
And
the Grateful Dead had a sound system called the Wall of Sound.
Yeah, it was like 8-inch drivers, but they had them like
30
stacked,
feet tall.
like hundreds of them.
Hundreds of speakers, yeah.
Hundreds. Because it was, and they were the TAD drivers, which the company that I'm associated with, Pioneers, original engineers designed the TAD drivers. So they just took it to, what if we had 1,000 8-inch drivers instead of this? And they toured with it for quite a few years.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you, plugging into their amps and their monitors and their everything, and it was the worst experience I've ever had. And I'll tell you why. Because it's set up about 40 feet in the air or 30 feet in the air to drive down on the dance floor so that the neighbors don't hear it. The problem is, if you're 3 feet back like I was, you can't hear it either. So I kept turning up. Now, I did a wedding on Sunday on the 4th. The loudest I ever got during dancing, I had 1 yellow light on my master out. On Saturday, I was clipping on the same exact system. And I'm like, can you guys turn this up? Because my system is like clipping out. So if yours was louder, I wouldn't clip. And, but I get why they did it. But it was, it was nice. But
for you.
When you walk a couple, it's amazing to me still. You walk a couple feet behind or a couple feet away, and suddenly your ears are like, I can't hear it.
So ideally, I would love this to be. Ideally, I would love this to be an educational program for DJs.
Okay.
Where they can go and get some information that's right and accurate. So I don't mean to be that guy, but I Googled it because everybody was against me on this. The Wall of Sound is a music production formula developed by American record producer Phil Spector at Gold Star Studios in the 1960s, with assistance from engineer Larry Levine and the conglomerate of session musicians, later known as the Wrecking Crew.
Yes.
Mic drop.
No. I was with you 100%.
Oh, yeah.
I always knew Spector's thing was Wall of Sound, and I've seen the Glenn Campbell interviews and the
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. Yeah.
Everybody, like, we're all on board on that. But what Howie and I are referring to is, if you also look up Grateful Dead early 70s, like sound
system,
system,
I'm sure they had a huge system.
You'll see a photo
and it will blow your mind. Sound.
Yeah.
They actually call it
because we're talking like 1,000 8-inch speakers exposed. Like, the photos are incredible to see because they had gotten an engineer, front of house or whoever, who said, it'd be cool if you did this. And they got it from someone, Howie. Do you remember who they got it from? And they stole it and went on the road with it.
No, Phil Spector was the sound.
That's like a quote.
The soundscape that he portrayed in stereo was known as the Wall of Sound.
Yeah, it's here as Grateful Dead too.
Yeah. And then, but the Grateful Dead Wall of Sound was a physical wall of sound.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. But Jay, it sounds like, okay, you want to be educational. It doesn't sound like they had an engineer or a professional sound person.
It wasn't tuned.
Install this because you had power alleys is what they were called, because if you had dead spots and then it was like, oh my God, it's really loud over here, that's a horrible installation.
Well, what they do a lot
They
of
told
times-
me they spent 90 grand on it. And I think what they did was they said, how can we make this danceable in this box, but no one else will hear it? And whoever built it did it that way. I questioned why they had 8 different size speakers in each box, and there's 56 boxes. And again, we're talking, it's sitting flat above you, 20, 25 feet above you. And it did in the middle of the dance floor. It sounded really cool. It didn't have the oomph or the push that you may want, but their goal there is to do weddings 2 or 3, 4 times a week and not have the neighbors go, it's so loud, call the police. So they're happy with it. My thing also was they installed 4, I think they were 4-inch box speakers on poles away from it. And their comment to me was, this is for your voice, announcements, and music later. Well, later when it got turned up, those speakers started like, I mean, they sounded terrible. And I told the guy, I'm like, dude, turn them off or way down. He goes, well, it's all tied together. I go, okay, that's your big mistake. If you're gonna have like area speakers against the main system, have them be on 2 different volumes. So I think the question, Brian, is this is one of those, probably the only time this year it will happen, but how many times are you driven to an event and finding out that your sound system is the in-house sound system?
You mean you didn't
maybe
have a
once
choice?
a year it happens to me.
You didn't have a choice, you mean, as to...
No, they said you're plugging into this because we need to control the volume later.
Oh, okay.
If I'd set up the 2 Evolve 50, and I told the guy later, I go, I got Evolve 50s. If I'd put them on the corners of the dance floor pointed forward, I'm confident that the 120 people would have heard the toast, the dinner music, the announcements, and the dancing. He goes, yeah, but the sound would go to the neighbors. And I'm like, well, it may have, but...
Well, okay, so this is, I think, where we need to exercise a little empathy for the venue, because what they're thinking to themselves is, we've had John, superstar DJ, come in here for $200 with his crap or his huge system that's way too big for the room, and it's gotten to the point where we will lose our cabaret license if the neighbors complain anymore. So what do we do about it? What we do is we put our own system in that we can control and the DJ needs to plug into. So that's probably where they're coming from.
Oh,
and in all fairness,
that's where they were coming from.
in all fairness, they brought in an installer and trusted the installer to do things. And, oh, well, no, turn that down. It's like, are you sure you want to? Yeah, turn that down. So it is what it is. I mean,
they told me they had 115 dB in the dance floor, and it was so loud they couldn't stand it. So they know the system pumps. The problem is the system also hits concrete
115
and then ricochets back up.
115
That's what I was
decibels
thinking.
isn't that much.
Yeah.
But
115 decibels, you could expect to get out of a, just for point of reference, the LD systems in Maui 5 Go is 120 decibels. For point of reference.
that's the max and the SPF and SPL.
No, that's real. That's real. 120 decibels. That's real.
Yeah, but again,
and that's not distorting.
No, but you're looking at a system this way, going that way. This is a system coming down 20 feet to concrete where the sound has nowhere to go. So where does the sound? I mean, Howie, please jump in. To me, my thing was the sound hits the ground and then bounces back up.
It's
like
it's
this
called
constant
room
yo-yo
reflection.
effect.
My point with 115 decibels is simply that 120 decibels is significantly louder than 115 decibels. It doesn't sound like a big margin, but it's huge.
Well, it's like hurricanes. A 4 to a 5 is not 1. A 4 to a 5 is like, 40 miles an hour in wind and this and that. It's
I don't know if it's exponential or not at that point. Howie's more of a science guy than I am.
We're probably talking at 67 decibels. But if you heard true, what's a jet airline take off at? Like 120?
No.
It's not.
No, it's in the 130s, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's still not contextual because it's not. It's certainly my voice cannot double to a jet airline.
Well, no, it can't.
That's my point. So it's a stepping.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's not a lot though. 115 is not a lot.
Well, he was very happy to tell me that, and I was like, oh, okay.
Well, what you can do, Jay, if you're doing that venue again, like Brian said, you'd have the empathy for them. They want to keep their cabaret license. They probably had a complaint. Just bring yourself a monitor for yourself for your booth, and Bob's your uncle.
If you want to go the extra mile, if they
that would have changed because I showed up not knowing they had this.
Yeah.
And then when I saw it, I was like, "Whoa, what's this?" And they go, "Oh, you plug into it." I'm like, "Oh, no way! I get it. You guys controlling it." So the problem I was having was as I would turn up for dance, it would shut down a little bit, and I'm like, "Oh, you have a limiter." And they're like, "No." I'm like, "Well, I'll be honest with you. My ears aren't that bad. I'm just telling you, the last song and this song are not the same volume."
Yeah.
And if I turn up, it keeps shutting down. So somewhere in the chain is a limiter. It's rare, but there are venues that I work where they say, I did one last year, and I did it on a set of stairs going up, and the platform where I was, they had a 12-inch sub. And I swear to you, it was right out of a home theater system, along with 2 speakers and then 2 on the bottom. And I start playing, and I'm seeing all these speakers, lights lighting up like they're clipping. And I'm not very loud. But again, I'm 20 feet up from the dance floor. And I think it's one of those things. So maybe the topic becomes, when you set up your system and you test it, where are you in the system? My speakers are always side by side, left and right, a foot in front of me. And if I step back a foot, so I'm 2 feet behind, it doesn't sound that loud to me. But if I go on the dance floor, I'm like, whoa, this is pretty loud.
I'll say that the last time I worked with an in-house system was when I was doing Evolve, and there were 3 zones there, and there were multiple amps running things. The main dance floor was, I think it was 2 12-inch JBL something or others. And then there was a big JBL sub built into the wall. It was like a 15, but it was all being powered by, they were Crown amps. They weren't Macro. They might have been Macrotech. I don't remember. It's been a long time. But what I can tell you is that there were times when DJs would complain about distortion as the evening went on.
Right.
Then I would go in and I would look at the amps and say, anybody bother to vacuum out these filters so these damn things can breathe? No. So you take a Phillips screwdriver, you take the covers off, and you clean that filter. I would even bring like a little dust buster with me to kind of suck inside, pop that filter back in, and no problems. Of course, you come back in, a couple weeks later, it's not sounding right. And this is back when you could still smoke inside and stuff, and there's a lot of dust in the air. So what you do, you clean the filters out again. No matter how many times you tell people to clean these, they just don't do it. But it's just dumb stuff like that. You have to know the system to be able to operate it. And it's
well, what you're talking about, those particular electronic circuits have, they'll self-protect when they heat up because of all the dust you're talking about, and they'll lower the volume. That's exact. Yep. Yeah.
Or distort.
Yeah, when I spoke, it
or
clicked.
Distort. Yeah.
Yeah. Every time I got on the mic, I watched all my reds go up, and I'm like, this is insanity. I've never redlined the XZ before. All of a sudden, I'm on the mic going, "Hey, everyone, it's the Annabert," and I look down and I'm like, "How am I clipping? Like clip lights coming on, everything is like lighting up."
If this was
and I'm
a situation,
hearing it just shut itself down, and I'm like, "Okay, so I have to talk quieter."
If this was ever a situation where you felt like you were going to be going back to this venue, if you ever felt like that would ever happen in your career, maybe the thing to do would be to contact them and say, hey, I've worked there before and I've worked with your system. Do you have any time this week for me to come in and show you something? And if they say yes, at that point, you come in and say, I just want to show you what my speakers are doing and what the effect is. And if they ever at any point get too loud for you, you just say stop and I will stop. But I just want to show you what my system sounds like. And then, oh, well, that's actually really nice. Okay, so next time I'm here, I get a pass, right? Because I understand the rules and I know that we have a 115 dB limit and I'm not going to exceed that. However, I'm going to get the coverage I need with my column arrays. Maybe that's the way to handle it because they don't know until they see it.
Right. Be diplomatic. I like that.
It's just like if you want to do dancing on a cloud or if you want to do like in the old days with haze. Oh, that's it? Yeah, that's it. Okay, well, yeah, you can do that. We were just afraid somebody was going to come in,
Well, I think there's a lot of learning. It's like this woman came over to me after the ceremony. She goes, that's the best ceremony we've ever had.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, I thought it was beautiful too. She goes, no, sound-wise. I go, oh, thank you very much. She goes,
outdoor ceremony?
Oh, I'm so sorry. We haven't met. I'm Rose. I own the venue.
Oh, nice.
Like, oh, nice to meet you. I'm Jay. I'm working for, Don Juan DJs, this company that brought me in. She goes, I have to tell you, I said to my husband, this is great. Like, what did you do? She goes, we had a wedding last night. We had two weddings last weekend. The mics are cutting out. It didn't sound right. There's pops. I go, well, for what it's worth, I only use one speaker. Really? I said, I've never used two at a ceremony.
Did you use a single 50 or did you use the Behringer?
No, I used the Pioneer, actually, the Express 10.
Oh, okay.
So I had the Express 10 and I had the two Audio-Tech 4000s, handheld and a clip on the groom. And everyone sounded great. I was probably 40 feet away. It sounded really good. I mean, but it always sounds good for me because I don't want stereo effect. I don't want, ricochets. I don't want fills. I only use one for the sound. I've never used two in my career.
No.
Never, ever.
I see others.
Because I'm just simply getting the audience. And by the way, my logic, I'm always way back in the side or behind them.
Right.
Because I don't want them, I want them to hear a little bit of the voice and then have it kind of come together. So I've never been that guy. I see this all the time on YouTube. Here's two stacks and the group is here. No. Get behind them. Don't do
I
it
take
that
that back. I did use two speakers once because it was rain and they had the ceremony in where the reception was.
I remember that gig.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, Jay brings up an interesting point. It's something that I do as well. And I never really could articulate it to others why I did it. But yeah, I also set up in the back in the corner, not only to stay out of sight, but the other reason is there's a really good chance that somebody using one of those microphones is not going to use it properly. It's just a thing. I had a situation this weekend where I did a sound check with vocalists, and they're like, well, we want to be able to hear ourselves. I'm like, okay, but you got to understand, you got to hold this microphone to your mouth to be able to hear it. This isn't going to work. It only works like this. So I'm playing music for them and they're singing and, of course it's drifting further away. Then they get on it and then it would, whatever. I'll say, okay, well, just remember, get on it. During the actual performance, they were here. And I had to turn the track down so you could hear their vocals.
Right.
But the point of it was you could hear a little bit out of the rear speaker, and it was for the people in the back. The people in the front should be able to hear the natural voices as much as possible.
Yeah. Right. And I tell them when they meet is where I'm happy. So if you're speaking in the front and I'm in the back projecting, I don't want it to be so loud that you can hear it that well because you'll start getting confused.
Yeah.
It'll get all weird. And they go, oh, okay. It's just like, up until I bought the two Audio-Tech 3000s this year to have two clips, I got away for about 20 years with one mic on a stand, but down, like chest level.
Sure.
That way all three get picked up. I did a wedding in Santa Barbara once, and the officiant was a pastor, and he's like, I need a clip-on. I go, I'm not doing a clip-on. We're too close to the water. There's wind, this and that. He goes, well, I don't know if I can do this. I said, well, I'll be blunt. This is how I do it. It'll be perfect. Don't worry. He goes, I may not be able to go through this. Well, I'll tell you what.
I've got a license on Mary and go home.
I'm ordained, and if I need to step in, I will, and we'll be fine. By the way, the wedding Sunday night had no wedding party.
Nice.
Bride and groom, no best man, no maid of honor.
Perfect.
Nobody. So afterwards,
short announcements.
The pastor taps me on the shoulder and he goes, the bride and groom would like you to sign the marriage certificate. I go,
Sweet.
Really? As a witness? I go, okay. So I sign it, and the groom looks at me and he goes, hey, if the pastor leaves, and the pastor is standing there and he goes, yeah, I got to go. So the groom goes, okay, the pastor is leaving. Do you mind doing the blessing before the meal? And I'm like, no, not at all. It's the third time I've done a blessing at a wedding.
I was asked to do it at the event this Saturday, and I said, and this is how I did it.
Well, for you, it makes no sense whatsoever.
It doesn't matter. This is all passion.
I'm just saying, when you say, and in I'm
not Christian that way, but I respect the institution. So don't confuse it.
Could have done it.
It's not like that. I could have done it. But what I said to them was, the reason I don't want to do this is because in the grand scheme of things, at your event, I'm nobody. There's somebody in your audience. This would mean a lot to them to be able to take the microphone and lead prayer. So we'd like a table prayer. I think my cousin Gus would be good for that. And Gus did it. Oh, not Gus. I'm sorry, Guy. It's a guy named Guy who did the guy named Guy.
Gary
did the
and there's a restaurant here at the Lynx Hotel, Guy Fieri. So
different guy. This guy, I think, was from like North Dakota or Montana or one of those states where there's more cows than people.
Put a body in a chipper.
Something. So
that's a good idea, though, to have a family member do it. That it means more than
it makes it more personal.
Memory.
I saw an opportunity to get some PR and get out there in front of the audience. By the way, at the end of the prayer, after the blessing of the couple and the food and everything else, I did mention, and let's have a great dance floor. I did it very subtle, very quiet, but no, I totally agree with you, Brian. There is somebody there that means more to them. And I think initially when I was like, oh, wow, what an honor. Thank you. There's no one else you want. They're like, nope.
If there's no one else that they want there to do a prayer, the prayer is probably not necessary.
Well,
I don't know that. And again, there's no right or wrong here, but in my way of thinking, it's like, okay. And come to find out, the event that I did on Saturday, the folks there are pretty religious, especially the folks from states that have more cows than people. They were very religious.
Yeah.
And they were very cool, but there was that thing there. Well, and it was a big deal to Gus to do it. He was honored to do it. And he was so happy.
No, I totally agree.
He walked up very proud and said, I understand I'm supposed to speak to you. And I'm like, yeah, Gus, our guy, right? And he says, yeah, okay, I'm Brian. Here's the mic. Here's the on switch. He's like, oh, sure. Got it. When do I come up? I'm like, well, as soon as they sit down, as soon as they're seated, when I bring them in, I bring the music down. Just walk up here. I'll hand you the microphone. Turn on the switch, count to 3 for it to connect, and go. It's perfect. Right. So the guy had a thing to do, and he did it perfect. It was gorgeous. And it was like he was actually clergy or something.
Yeah.
And it was short and sweet and very personal. Hey,
the very first time I ever did it, it was one of these, I leaned down to the bride and groom at their sweetheart table, and I said, hey, in my notes, I have that you're doing a blessing. Who's doing it? Can you do it? I mean, so the very first time it was like, yeah, of course I can.
Sure.
And I did it. And as I've told this story before, I said, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor that I've been given to give the blessing today. So if you'd all bow your heads, and everyone bowed their heads. And the voice in my head said, and now if you would all please put $20 bills in front of you.
I'll tell you something that
did creep in.
I'm going to make your head explode right now, Jay. Your head's going to just go. I did a blessing last summer at an event.
Okay, that's it. Yeah. Good
I
night,
remember.
everybody. Thank you for attending. See you at Expo. And did
Off
you
the
really?
hat, I
He did.
did a Christian blessing
Oh.
at the wedding because I was asked
Yeah.
to do it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
I
there
did.
is no one above us that's looking down.
When you die, there's no
Try
afterlife.
not to
Enjoy
show.
the food.
And to quote Slayer, your God hates us all. So
No. I respect all religions. I really do. I respect the institutions and
Mhm.
what do you want to call it? The
Customs.
Brian's the guy at the wedding that gets asked to give a toast and goes like, wedding is an institution. I think everybody in weddings are institutionalized at some point.
no. I behave myself. I really do. But no, I've done it. But
no, I have
really-
no doubts that you would do it great too. 'cause you're
And
a
I did it.
professional.
I did it ad lib. I ad libbed a prayer. That was weird, but I did it, and I was able to do it, and it wasn't a problem. I mean, I've seen it done enough. I guess I can handle this.
Well, if you had to do a ceremony tomorrow, I've done 8 or 9 of them, and they've all gone really well, and they've all been from the hip. But we've already gotten can I have the rings, a perfect circle, an outward sign of an inward bond, and yada, yada, yada. I mean, you know the gist of it.
Right.
So if you're asked to give a blessing, it's, folks, bow your heads. We look at this couple in our gathering today. And afterwards, like 8 people came up. They're like, man, great blessing. I'm like, oh, thank you.
Yeah.
And then like by the 6th person, you're like, seriously, folks? Like I made that up. Like
Right.
this wasn't
Off the hat. Yeah.
This wasn't I met the couple last Monday.
Yeah.
They hired me 2 months ago and I only met them last Monday. We're not that close.
Right.
Like they're my clients. They hired me. I'm the worker. They're the boss.
Now let me segue off of this a little bit, Jay, because I think it's really
Okay.
interesting what you just said.
Before you go off of that,
Okay.
real quick, I think probably, and at least a few times I've done it, they go, oh man, that was great. Because it's just like, you're going to recognize the couple, you're going to thank God for the food, and it's over. And I think if you're anything like me, you don't want a long-winded prayer before dinner.
No.
It's like
30
if you're
seconds
short,
at the outside.
that's when they complimented me because I think it was short.
That could very well be. That makes sense.
I think I said something about, thank you for the opportunity to have this fellowship tonight and the celebration of
Exactly.
Bob and Karen's,
Boom, done.
thing, and plus this
But we get
food
to the point because that's
Thank
our
you.
job.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
asked to make
There's
a
not a lot of
statement.
filler.
We're
Yeah.
going directly to the statement. We're not dancing. We're not going around about like, well, folks, the blessing is a moment where
Right.
I, as a human, will speak to the heavens. No, we don't do that. We're
Now
like,
let me do my frickin' segue because I was going to do that.
Yes.
So
Sorry about that.
it's okay. It's okay. So I did a ceremony this weekend. I had an outdoor wedding ceremony. It went incredibly well. There were 2 entrant songs. There were 2 songs in the middle. One was a unity song. One was a instrumental for the singers. And then there was the recessional. Microphones worked fine. Sound was fine. They were late. I got sunburnt. Besides the point. I was told what they wanted to come down the aisle to. And so the wedding party came down to 1,000 Years instrumental.
Yep.
And I suggested doing the nice piano version of it that I have. And they said, yes, let's do
piano
that.
guys.
That's
But
great.
yeah, whatever it is. It's good, just
Yeah.
piano.
Great version.
But then when she was coming down the aisle, she wanted the regular, whatever the chick's name is, version.
Christina Perini or something.
There you go. So I did that and faded it out, and it worked beautiful. Then I don't know, whatever the instrumental was they gave me, I don't know. They just gave it to me, and I used it. It was provided by the vocalist. There are 2 songs that they had for not only the unity song, but for their exit track. One of them, the name of it was like Compass, and the other one, the name of it was something to the effect of Come With Me, or I don't know what it was. So that's what I had. And they didn't give me any other direction other than that. So the vocalists had their mother there. One of the vocalists, I think it was the one who was a little older than the younger one. The mother was there, and the mother, who is somebody who I affectionately refer to as Aunt Jackie, because everyone called her Aunt Jackie. I was talking to Aunt Jackie from the minute I got there. Aunt Jackie and I, we had a relationship. Remember the old lady in Sister Act? She had red hair, the nun, kind of the older one, kind of, hey, Cookie, what's going on? That was Aunt Jackie. Okay. So I talked to her a lot. I talked to, the girls know how to sing, but they want to do a sound check. Fine. We did a sound check. Didn't work out great, but did it. Afterwards, Aunt Jackie comes up and says to me, "Hey, that was a really good ceremony." I said, "Thank you." She says, "Yeah, everybody sounded fine." I said, I wish the girls would have gotten closer to the mic." She says, "Well, they said they did a sound check, and whatever it is, what it is, you did fine. You did a really good job. Thank you." I do have one question and maybe a critique, though. I said, "What was that?" She said, "Why didn't you play Christian music for Prelude?" Because what had happened was the wedding was supposed, or the ceremony was supposed to start at 3. I was to do Prelude from 2:45 to 3, and then, the ceremony. They didn't give me any instruction on what they wanted for Prelude music. So Howie and I got together, and he shared some classical music with me, some stuff that he liked. And so I have a folder called Classical Howie. So I was playing music off my Classical Howie folder. And it was just like general, whatever, Classical Howie music.
Right.
So I'm going to call it from now on. It's all Classical Howie.
But I would add Hillsong to the folder.
Well, she said, "Well, why didn't you play the Christian music?" I said, "Jackie, I didn't get any direction on this." She says, "What do you mean?" I said, "They didn't tell me anything beyond the songs that they wanted. They just said fill in the blanks." And I wasn't sure if that was going to be appropriate. And she looked at me and had this look on her face of epiphany. And she says, "They could have been atheists as far as you knew." I said, "Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Or Jewish or something." Right. I said, right. Exactly. That's why I keep it neutral. I said, one thing I never do is play anything that I feel like is going to cause any political strife or anything that's going to cause any, theological issues. I keep it neutral unless I'm told to do otherwise.
Smart.
If somebody wants Christian or this, of course I'm going to do it. If they want me to play a song that's politically diverse or not diverse, politically polarizing, fine, I'll do it. I'm like "Don't Stop" by Fleetwood Mac. That song was written by the Bill Clinton campaign. I can't play that song anymore because it's like a Democrat thing, and I don't want to offend anybody who's not a Democrat or whatever. I don't want to do that. So I try to keep things neutral. She got it. Now, Jackie's hardcore church. Her daughter's singing in church. She was very aware of this was non-Christian music I was playing. Yet, the cool thing about Aunt Jackie, who I know was in her 80s, she empathized and got it that, it wasn't the thing to do. It was neat. It was a cool moment. And I had so much more respect for Aunt Jackie after that. Not that I didn't like her before, but I'm like, she gets it. She's sharp.
Yeah, but you got it too, though, which was the important part because you worked with the information you had and you took the neutral route and it worked out great.
Right. Not if they would have said they wanted Ode to Joy or whatever. Fine, we're going to do that. But that's not at all what they said. So,
right.
Yeah, I mean, you just, I don't know. You don't do that. I don't do it with anything. I mean, I don't get patriotic. Nothing. I keep everything neutral unless someone wants me to do something otherwise.
Right.
So,
my Sunday was all patriotic.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Well,
I follow the lead of the because it's not my gig,
Yeah.
Right. No, I get that.
Always. So
I totally get that. Well, it's those moments like where you want to stay in the realm of what's going on and where your responsibilities lie. I mean, look at Robin, who's one of our many viewers, and we're greatly appreciative of her. Throwing down a little Red Hot Chili Peppers thing here and there, and Could be, you know, anything from Under the Bridge to Other Side. Who knows? But it's there. And as long as the clients understand this is what we've all agreed upon, you're gold. You know?
There's something I wanted to share with you, Jay.
Yes, sir.
I told Howie about it last night, but I didn't tell it on the broadcast because I was saving it for this. So I thought you'd appreciate it. I thought you'd really. Howie already knows what I'm talking about. I know you're not a film guy. I know that you do not watch like movies and stuff.
Not a big movie guy.
I will ask you this question because it's totally relevant.
If it's Indiana Jones, I've got it.
Are you familiar with the work of David Lynch?
Yes, I am. Blue Velvet.
Okay. So you know
And Twin
kind of
Peaks.
the
Twin Peaks. I was just going to say Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks. Okay, so if I said David Lynch to you, it would not be an obscure reference.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
Well, I got to set this up for you. I have to set it up. I'm gonna try to do this in a fun way, or I got some suspense here. So I played a mother-son song that I don't believe you would guess in 10 years, but you know. I'm going to set this up. The groom is probably in his late 30s.
Okay.
His mother looks as if she's probably someplace in her 70s.
Okay.
And she looks like she's in her 70s.
Had him young
She's kind of
or old?
well, yeah, I think she might have had him a little old. And she's a little heavy set, short, okay? Wearing socks, very short hair. You have the image in your head. You've seen this lady.
I've
this
got
lady
her.
every day at the
I know
store.
who she is.
You know her.
Yep.
Okay. So she's short. He's taller. He's heavy set. She's, of course, a little heavy set too, but not obese or anything like that. But just, not a skinny little old lady, but
No.
she's an older woman. And she's wearing socks. Okay. Very important. She's wearing socks.
Yep.
And the groom and I talk about the mother-son dance on Wednesday, and he says, I've decided I want to do Beth by Kiss because my mom likes the song. And I thought, well, okay, you know what? I like it because it's personal, and who cares what anybody else thinks? Something that I learned from the School of Jay. This is you talked about this with the Everybody's Talking.
Make it about you.
Make it about you. I get a text as soon as we're off the phone, maybe 15 minutes later, where he changes his mind and picks a different song for the mother-son dance.
Wind Beneath My Wings.
It wasn't it.
And I want to share with you kind of what that looked like.
Okay.
Give me just a moment.
I'm
Give
excited.
me just a moment. Would you like to try to take a guess of what the song might be that he chose to dance with his mother with?
Something tells me it's probably inappropriate.
Well, wait a minute.
Vis-a-vis the lyrics being "When I Kiss You."
No, we're not going to talk about lyrics today. Lyrics aren't a thing
Okay.
today.
All right.
That's not an issue. So
If there's any country in there, I'm guessing "I Hope You Dance."
can you see my screen
I can.
Yes,
with the dance floor right here?
Yes, I see the mom.
Are you ready to hear the song that he chose?
Cannot wait. Seriously?
I thought you'd appreciate that.
My God, that came out of left effing field.
Okay, this was the most David
Right.
Lynch thing I've ever seen at a wedding. It was just surreal looking.
Yeah.
Because it's not like they were like, games people play, you take it or you leave it. They were games people play, you take it or they were on every beat.
Wow.
And she fell 3 times,
Oh God.
Oh,
which I didn't get on camera.
Oh, good.
Smart.
But she fell down on her back 3 times. And every time she did it,
Jesus.
I'm on the volume. I'm ready to fade it out. He reaches down, gets under her arms and picks her up, and they just keep going. And she's smiling and singing.
Wow.
And then she goes to give her a twirl that is he should not do.
No.
She should not twirl this woman.
Number 3.
And you fall number 2.
Oh, number 2.
Then it happens a third time.
Oh, wow.
And every time I'm ready to kill, I'm thinking, oh, she's broken a hip. Something's going on. Now, at the end of it, I will admit that my thought in my head is, this woman's a rock star.
Yeah.
She wasn't embarrassed. She didn't, nothing. She just continued on and smiled and like a pro, right?
Really?
But the other part of me is thinking, holy David Lynch.
Yeah.
It is a little weird.
This belongs on an episode of Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
But you know what else is unusual? What's the first thing that we usually get for like that type of dance? Hey, can you make it only
Right, can you make it like
real, short?
This chorus out, verse chorus out. Yeah, he wanted the whole song.
Well, obviously, because she kept getting up, like, wow.
She
amazing.
Loved it. She was smiling and singing the whole time.
Now, did you ever
but it was just really weird to watch. That's all.
But did you ever find out what the significance of the song was to them? It had to be
there had to be some meaning.
She loved it. Whatever it was. Maybe it was a song that she used to play at home all the time. Maybe she had the CD or the something or the record. Maybe
I still do that. I still say, is there a memory, especially bride father? Is there a memory of you growing up where like, oh my God, I used to sit in his lap and listen to Neil Diamond. Let's do Neil Diamond.
I always because he came to me with this. So I didn't ask the question. I already assumed there's got to be a reason the memory is attached to this. Because he had asked me during our conversation, said, I have a question. By any chance, do you have the song Games People Play by Alan Parsons Project? And I said, that's a really good question. I know I have it on record back here, but let me see if I've got a digital copy of it. Sure enough, I do. It turned up on one of my Rock of the 80s CDs that I got in the early 90s. So I'm like, yeah, I do. I have it. So, if he's like, yeah, we love sometime during the night, I'd love to hear that song. Okay. So it was the only song request I got other than father, daughter, mother, son, first dance, whatever. That was the only one I had. So I just put it in bold below everything to make sure I play it. And then after I hang up, the text comes through. Yeah, we're going to do that for the mother son dance.
So bizarre.
All right. Done and done.
I'll make crazy. But you know what? That's the beauty of weddings. It's never about normality.
Yeah, I would not have picked Alan Parsons Project for a dance.
No. Serious?
No, you would never guess that.
Intro?
No, I wouldn't have. That was...
And it's kind of an interesting song lyrically if you think about it. Where do we go from here now that all the children have grown up? That's kind of cool right there when you think about it.
Maybe that is the memory they want. Yeah.
But I don't believe
the lyrics,
that the lyrical content had anything to do with the song selection.
You don't think so?
I do not. I think it was just a song she liked. But
he was out of ideas.
Well, she was having fun, and she danced otherwise. She did.
That's all that counts. I hate when I get clients that are like, oh, here's our songs, and you can hear them reciting the last Wedding Wire or friggin' The Knot, top 200, top 100. I'm like, so you're just copying another website? What do you mean? Well, these don't sound like your songs.
I get it with activities. Because all of a sudden, 2021 is the year of the shoe game.
Oh my God!
Oh, no.
And it won't stop. Everybody wants this because they Googled fun wedding stuff, and the shoe game keeps popping up. So they keep asking.
Have you gotten the last first?
The last first? Yes, I have.
Okay, I was going to say
gotten that. He's talking about the anniversary dance.
No, I'm talking about the bride and groom doing a last dance when the guests leave, where it's just the two of them at the end of the night.
Oh, no, I haven't gotten that.
Oh, I've gotten that like 4 times this year. So you ask the guests to leave, go out front, wait for the bride and groom, then the bride and groom suddenly dance one last slow. It's called last first.
The interesting one that I had aside from games people play Alan Parsons Project for the mother-son dance, I dare you to top that, is at 9:15, Bride comes up to me and says, hey, could you ask everyone to go into the parking lot? Because we're going to light sparklers and the photographer is going to take pictures. Okay. But you and I both know that's going to be a fantastic excuse to just leave after the sparkler picture.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Your car's right there.
Yeah.
You can just go. It's Saturday night. You either let the babysitter off the hook an hour early, or you don't have to go back in there because you really were kind of thinking about leaving anyway. Or maybe you weren't thinking about leaving, but now that you see your car and you see that, hey, we could go get Burger King right now before it closes, it's over.
Yeah, 100%.
So that happened. And I ended up with probably 20 people for the rest of the night. They were the right 20 people, and I had fun with them. There were little things that happened that I didn't mention in any of my videos. For instance, one of the bridesmaids, Kim, was requesting songs, and I would play Kim's songs. So then Kim comes up.
NWA.
No. They weren't like that at all.
Okay.
So Kim comes up, not at the end of the night, but when we were wrapping things up a little bit, because I know it's late, but there's a song I really want to hear. I want to hear. Oh no, I'll back this up. Earlier in the evening, she came to me and says, "I need to hear a song." And I don't know if you have it. It's got meaning, and people will come dance to it. I'm like, okay. It's Man in Motion, and I'm like, John Parr. It's from the St. Elmo's Fire soundtrack.
Nice.
I'm like, John Parr, Man in Motion, parentheses, St. Elmo's Fire. I'm like, yeah, John Parr.
Yeah.
You know it. Of course I know
all
it.
day. Yeah.
Let me see. Yeah, I have it. I'll be happy to play it for you. So I did, and they got a kick out of it. So then she comes up a little later on. I know it's later in the evening, but I need to hear a song called Bizarre Love
Triangle. Yep. Here we
It's
go.
by a band called Depeche Mode. I'm like, no, it's not. It's by New Order. It's Depeche Mode. I'm like, no, it's not, honey. It's New Order.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Depeche Mode. I'm like, I'm a man of that age. You're in my wheelhouse right now.
I'm the DJ, so you're not going to.
If I could find a song called Bizarre Love Triangle by Depeche Mode, I'd be happy to play it for you. But since it doesn't exist, I'll play you the one by New Order. How does that sound to you? I thought it was funny. And then she comes up and says, I need you to play a song called I Am the Man by a band called Wham. Like, oh, I'm Your Man by Wham. No, I am the man. Like,
no, honey.
Fine.
No.
I'll play that for you.
Well, it goes back to the famous, like, can you play Apple Bottom Jeans?
Yeah.
It was very much like that. But I'm like, kid, listen, I'm a man of that age. I was there the first time around. So you're in my wheelhouse right now. When you start asking for Drake, yeah, you're going to take the lead on this. But no. Don't school me on Wham and Depeche Mode and New Order tonight, kid. Not even John Parr. No, we're not doing this.
Well,
it was just funny.
Yeah, like Jay said, you go, oh, yeah, sure. And you just play it. You play along. It's kind of like when I do live sound and they're like, oh, can you turn the monitors up a little bit? The highs, yeah. And you fake like you're turning something. How's that? Oh, it's perfect. And, I didn't do anything,
Right, yeah. How's this? Oh, much better, much better.
Oh, much better. Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Man, you're really good. You're better than the last guy.
You guys have fun tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're just winging it, right?
It was nice.
What we do.
Should we have Jay end with a prayer?
Yeah. Could you take us out with a table prayer, Jay?
I'd be happy to if everyone would bow their heads.
Okay.
We are so grateful that we have an audience of people that consistently watch us, support us, and allow us to be who we really are, which is two DJs.
Okay, that's enough. Let's have that. Bill Maher says, sorry, Kim, but if you cannot get the song and the artist correct, then you are cut off.
Oh.
No, Bill, I'm not that hardcore. But, I mean, come on. I'm not the guy who you want to...
No, you're the last guy you want to take on.
Damn it. No.
No, but I do, on a serious note, I want to thank everyone that's always followed us, everyone that watches us.
Absolutely.
Everyone that supports us. We're going to be doing something. Location to be determined. Probably in the next day or two, we'll have something. But we will all gather.
I do have a surprise.
In August. Do you have a location?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. Do you want to disclose that now, or are we going to keep that under wraps for the time being?
I spoke to the new general manager at Beret, and he's on board with that, and he's going to get back to me with details, and we are going to have happy hour prices from 8 o'clock until midnight.
Nice.
On Tuesday.
Beautiful.
For our chill event in Atlantic City at the Expo.
I say that you still contact your cousin so she can call him and say, hey, you know who you're talking to right here? Did you talk to Howie? Howie, do not mess with that man. Do what he says, okay? Or I'll come down and have to whip your ass.
We're going to bring Lisa into the fold on this one. Yes.
You come down there and get Jersey on him.
Yeah, it's either that or the dancing horse. And by the way, the girls...
diving horse.
I'm sorry, thank you. Well, I haven't been there, Brian, unlike you. The diving horse. And for what it's worth, the girls are single moms, and you're going to tip after you watch the dance. So let's just put it there.
Or else. Thank you so much for watching, everybody.
John's going to nix this whole show now.
He will. That's okay. He might do some. So just in case he does the edit here, let's give him an edit point.
Okay. You know what? And even if we don't go where Howie has said, I'll speak with my cousin, and we'll probably end up at St. Gregory's or St. Nicholas. And
that'll be just fine.
And we'll have a great time.
Cookies.
Sure.
Yep. If those of you watching could bring a red and white check tablecloth, it would be a big help.
Something for the plate would be nice too. So thank you so much for joining us. We will see
Mercedes
you next
is not
week.
Her real name.
We will see you next week, whether you want to see us or not. Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.